and said the game has changed, it is evolving, and you need to be able to adapt and pivot quickly in order to thrive. If you can't adapt and pivot quickly, you're done. The old way, I don't know if I want to say obsolete just yet, but definitely harder, less lucrative, more stressful. And I've been obsessing for, what's it been now? 9 months deep in figuring out what is the new way of the future for moving companies. Let's just talk about AI for a minute. Just put that out on the table right now. The speed of which we can do things now is at a level that we've never seen before, and it's rapidly advancing day after day after day. You don't need me to, tell you that.
Financials, so naturally the KPIs that I lean towards are financial. There's a million KPIs, right, that we can be looking at, and a lot of them good. But for me, there's 5. First one, naturally, gross profit margin, okay? Gross profit margin really helps you understand if your system is broken, okay? So if you have a low gross profit margin, and the way that we do accounting, right, it all depends on how your accounting's done. If the way that we do our accounting, we want to shoot for at least a 45% gross profit margin. We see that they are they spend more than what we think that they should be spending on their marketing, okay? However, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're spending too much. You have to be looking at more than just that. But if you're losing more than 15% of your leads, you're either priced too high or you're right where you want to be, because you're getting more leads than you can handle potentially, and you can really increase your margins, right? So it's a great thing. Overhead efficiency ratios are really, that particular ratio is probably one of the biggest indicators of net profitability.
Valuation, selling valuation is one of the best ways that you can do that. It's one of the lowest hanging fruit that you can jump right into. You can start doing it today. Why selling valuation makes all the difference. So in my companies, our valuation sales usually are around between 2 and 3% of top line revenue every single year. And there's a couple reasons. There's fears of why they don't sell it. First of all, it's like a lot of times maybe our sales reps haven't really been educated on the process of it, how to sell it, how to talk about it intelligently, and have a process for selling it. And then the second one is companies are just worried that, like, hey, if I sell valuation on a move and something gets damaged, and at the end of the day I end up actually paying out like way more money than what I even collected for the valuation, sell it early and sell it often, right? So in the moving industry, we want to make sure that we're presenting it up front, that our salespeople are presenting it up front on the front end. And then also, like, when it comes time to do your move confirmations, that's another opportunity where you could be trying to sell it. Some companies even allow their movers, their crew leads, to try and sell it before the move starts. Mitigating risk with an effective claims process. This is so important. All right, so it all starts with having the proper paperwork. You've got to have ironclad paperwork that is going to protect you. And let's face it, that paperwork doesn't mean anything unless we're getting it all signed. We got to educate our sales reps. We got to sell it early. We got to sell it often. We got to make our CRM work for us. We got to pay a generous commission. And then we got to have a great claims process. Fine tune your paperwork. Make sure you got great paperwork. Respond to claims super fast and employ a great claims director. If you do all these things that we talked about today, you can add an extra 2 to 3% to your top line revenue at the end of the year.
The key to us as owners is we want to multiply revenue without multiplying problems. If you're not on that, packing service is the dollar, right? Boxes come with packing services. Our other moving labor just comes with moving labor. I'm looking at my biggest cost is my trucks, right? And in the off season, I'm not selling moves. I still have cost on that trucks when I leave a day, right? And so you're really trying to get that. I've had them at $650, not me receiving things, right? Me working for an RXO, an XPO, I've had them at $700. So about
for
that
like
range.
for one guy in a truck, two guys in a truck.
Few years I've been doing it internal, but $650, $700. It covers your insurance, covers your truck, covers paying your guys about $300 and it gives you a pretty decent margin, but mostly you're paying a lot of bills. Yes, too many. Is guys, every day I got 7 or 8 billboards driving around my area.
Exactly.
So as soon as I started doing delivery, I became that, like, I got the ego of the hometown dominator.
Found myself unemployed. Didn't really have any money in my savings account, so I went to Craigslist and just went and put an ad out and just started odd jobs and moving. Fast forward to today. Now we have 40 trucks. We have 5 locations in the Pacific Northwest area, and we're well past the 8-figure mark. This whole journey that I've taken in the moving industry, I've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, consistent mistakes, but the thing is, I learn from those mistakes, and that's what I look for with my people as well too, is the ability to learn from mistakes, the ability to be open to making mistakes, because that's the best learning opportunity that you can have. We really had to dive into sales, into more marketing and driving leads, and just optimizing the sales process just to ensure that the jobs were coming in and we're able to run the trucks and keep our crews busy. It's just know your numbers. It's so incredibly important. I really loved what Brock had to say earlier about KPIs and seeing his scorecards and some of the financial data. We do the same thing in sales. It's just so key, because when you know your numbers, you have clarity on what is going right and what isn't going right, what's going wrong. Sales. I mean, sales is the lifeblood of a moving company. If you're not selling, your trucks aren't running, there's no jobs, you guys aren't working.
As we start digging a little bit deeper into going into affiliate marketing, you're getting people to try to refer you. That's the bottom line. And how are they going to refer you? Well, first, it has to start with they have to trust you, they have to like you, and they have to be able to know that you're accountable to them. Understanding, okay, I'm talking to a realtor. What are the pain points of a realtor that I need to be able to address to where when I speak their language, I'm speaking the same language so they understand? For example, one of the things I've learned with realtors is they need help with staging. And so when we do a lot of our marketing ties to speaking that language on how we can bring them the solutions to those pain points that they're dealing with. The number one thing that I would say would be to get your brand identity. You see behind me, I have my background, I have my logo. This is what people are going to see. You see Coca-Cola, you know Coca-Cola. You see Doritos, I'm hungry. It's like lunchtime here, but those are the things that people are going to identify you. So your colors, your fonts, your logo, being able to build your brand identity starts to build that trust of consistency. And in our industry, people want consistency. People want to make sure that you are going to repeatedly do what you promise that you're going to do, which, it's an example of our reviews online. They have to like you and they have to trust you. And you're not going to be able to get that without being a direct extension of your word, who you are, and how you're going to treat them in the business.